Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my creative life. I am putting together a cake topper that I designed in Cricut Design Space for my granddaughter's second birthday. Now, I'm sure everybody can say the same thing I'm saying. If you've got a 2-year-old, they like Baby Shark, which is all okay. So I made my version of Baby Shark by using a shark image from Printable Cuttable Creatables, and I'll have the information to the website in the information box, as well as a coupon code so you can save 15% off your order if you decide to place an order there. They already have pretty low prices, but this, obviously a little savings is always a good thing. So unfortunately, I didn't film when I was creating the cake topper on Cricut Design Space. I'm only filming me putting it together, but also putting it together gives you some ideas on how it's made. So basically, when I start on Cricut Design Space, I always start with some kind of shape or whatever it is that all the elements are going to be attached to. Now, in this case, it happens to be that dark blue ring or circle, whatever you want to call it. And then I just kind of go from there. Now, I am planning on doing another video showing how I made this particular one. So look for that soon. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't forget to check it out. Also, you can hit the notification bell and it'll notify you whenever I post a new video. I do post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking and the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center, which in this case happens to be a cake topper. And before I forget, the command center is the name of my craft room and also my blog, which again, the link to my blog will be down in the information box. So the font that I'm using for all of the letters here is called PFC Block Toys. I love this font. First of all, I wanted something to be all caps and I wanted it to have like a childish feel, and this definitely filled both of those requirements. I love the way it looks. Now, using foam adhesive to add some, different heights is key to making cake toppers, or in my opinion. Foam adhesive. Also, you can also stack cardstock, and that is what I did with the drops, and I'll go over that in just a minute. But really quick, I wanted to show you as I'm going through this. Oh, you see how I have that strip foam adhesive? Now, it works all fine and dandy, keep the back layer on, but when you're doing a circular shape, remove that top layer because it helps bend it just a little bit easier. It makes it just a little bit easier, and then you can replace it on there until you're ready to actually stick it down. But in my case, I was ready right away. The other parts I'm using is some just liquid adhesive using my precision glue press, which I love because it has a fine point and it helps with all this pressure when you're trying to glue things together. Super simple. Again, everything just falling in place. I'm adhering all the elements first before I put them actually on the cake topper because I want everything to be ready when I'm ready to assemble it all. Now, I mentioned the cardstock stacks. So for each of these little drops, I duplicated 4 times. So I cut the top layer, that has the little cutouts, and then and that's in blue. The second one in white because that's what shows up the highlights, or that is the highlight, I should say. And then I did 2 more in blue. And the reason why I stacked cardstock is because I wanted it to be thicker. But can you imagine trying to put foam adhesive on those little tiny things? No. So stacking cardstock is a perfect way if you don't have a lot of foam adhesive, or you just know you're not going to want to be bothered with something as tiny as that. And again, having just different kinds of foam adhesive helps. I have some that are in little squares or rectangles, I should say. Some that are in strips like the ones I'm using here. And these are actually a thinner strip. I also have some that are thicker. So you pull it all out because you don't know what you're going to use. And again, just layer, layer, layer. I think it's always the key. And again, I wasn't even sure what I was doing as far as layering until I put all my layers together. And this is the flat portion. And then I'm looking at it and I start from the bottom up. So that pink is that bottom last layer. And then the white circle. And then the blue. And then, kind of everything else on top of it. So, you're just kind of doing what feels right, what looks right. There's probably no wrong or right way to do it because you're the one that's designing it, which is a lot of fun because Can you imagine this cake topper? When you see the end, it is so cute. There is absolutely no need to go out and buy a fancy cake with all kinds of fancies when you can just put something really cute like this cake topper on top. So whether you're making it from home or buying a cake from the store, you can just grab one off the rack. You don't have to, oh, let me order this, expensive cake, decorated cake. You just do something like this, and it just makes a big difference. Now, I do have cake topper or sticks that I have that are acrylic, and I also most of the time just use coffee sticks, the ones that are flat that you can get anywhere. You can buy a big old box of them for like next to nothing. And I usually put that on the bottom just because it's just easier. And I'm going to tell you folks, not only do I use this for the cake topper, but once the party's all over, I keep them because I take away or I remove some of the foam adhesive, depending on how thick I made it. And I use this for my scrapbooking embellishments. So, hey, win-win. So if you are a scrapbooker as well, you can keep your paper cake topper and use it for embellishment when you finally do the pages. But okay, I'm just rambling on right at this point. But again, I think I will do a video on how I created this or how I designed it, because I think that's probably the key, because it is hard to know where to start exactly. But I'm telling you, once you make one, it's just so easy, and you'll figure it out and you'll have a blast. And every party, you're going to want to make a cake topper. But anyhow, I hope you like this video so far. I know I'm rambling. I guess I always do. But please make sure you give me a thumbs up or hit that like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Like I mentioned earlier, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, so that way when I do post a video on how I actually did design this, or maybe I'll design another cake topper depending on how I feel, then you'll be able to see that, and that way you'll be ready to make your own. So you see here, I'm actually double layering the adhesive, so I just plop it right on top of the other, and that way I get 2 layers. And I really wanted this shark to stand out, which is kind of like the main image, because it's my version of Baby Shark. And I apologize, because now you're probably going, Janae is toot 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 toot, or maybe you're just singing the Baby Shark song, how it's supposed to be sung. And now, even though all the parts are put on, I'm going to go back and use both white pen and black pens to just do some highlights here and there, because it always just makes things stand out. So on this part right here, there was supposed to be a second row of teeth that were cut out, but it was just so small, because this is the whole entire cake topper is like 6.5 inches tall. So you can only imagine the shark is pretty small. So I just went back and used a white pen. I probably could have kept it off. It would have been fine. But once I committed, it was good. But so that white part right there. Now, I forgot to mention, when I do create the cake topper on Design Space, I duplicate the entire thing. And then that second duplicated one, or whichever one of the two, I weld it all together so I get one solid piece, and that's how I got the pink. And then I copied it again, made a white one, because that's going to be in the back to cover the stick. So anyhow, thanks again for watching. Make sure you hit the like button or give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.